Welcome to the Next Level podcast. My name is Angel, aka Famous Angel. I am here. Well, you know what? I'm gonna let him introduce himself because I want y'all to really get to know who this man is. He's the man, the myth, the legend himself. Would you mind introducing yourself to the people?
Sure thing. So I'm Arno Vergara, also known as Superman, the Hulk, a couple other things. But I am one of the owners of Next Level Studio. Basically, chilling with Angel. We've been doing some video stuff for a long time. We met at one of our jobs together.
The fruit stand is
the fruit stand. Okay, yeah, that's true. We actually started going out and filming drone footage. That's when we met.
Oh, if you guys want to see that, thank you for reminding me about that one.
Yeah.
If you want to see that one, check out the YouTube channel. You'll get to see Arno in a whole new
You put me
light.
on there?
Yeah, I put you in there.
Really?
Yeah, you're published, bro. You're out there. But yeah, man, like this is an intro kind of podcast because Arno's been hard at work designing this space, and you guys are gonna check out some shots of B-roll of what this space looks like. But it is by far, I feel like, the most innovative, automated, self-running studio. I don't know what other rhyming words I could put. He rhymes. I can't do that. But it's pretty cool. It's a pretty dope space. Everybody that comes in here is like, wow, this is amazing. Arno called me up. He's like, yo, can you come kick it at the studio and see like what we could do to collaborate together? And you guys know, collab studios, that's what we do, baby. We go to all the studios. Nobody's, out of this. We're going to get them all. So I was like, yeah, man, let me check it out. And we came to the space, and now, like, I feel like it's not, I didn't do anything.
No,
all I did was play around.
He finally came to the space.
I finally did, yeah.
He finally came to the space.
I'll admit it. And they know. Anybody that knows me out there knows that, sometimes it takes a little bit to get me. Get me out there. It is what it is. I'm a busy guy, and sometimes, it's tough. You got to be loud. If you really want to get my attention, be loud, and I'll get there. And he was loud enough, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to show up. And, I fell in love with the idea, and we kind of like did a couple of tweaks, and now I think we're ready to really turn up the gas on this.
For sure.
But I don't want to make this about like business and all that stuff. I mean, we can talk about it, but I want the people to know about you. So like, I love the fact that you mentioned the drone video. When did you get into this whole video stuff?
Long story, but I'll try to make it as short as possible. I knew somebody from Venezuela. She actually, she was an actress in Venezuela. And I met her at the fruit stand. And she somehow found me, and she started messaging me. She wanted to hang out and stuff, and we hung out for a little while, and she started asking me, why don't you do any kind of video stuff? Because you seem like you're a pretty intelligent person. You know all about computers. You should know all about cameras and stuff. So she kept pushing it on me, and I've always had some kind of interest in videos and drones and all this stuff. So I went out and I bought one of those DJI cameras. It was like already built into a gimbal. It had the little camera on the top, and it was like a gimbal.
The original Osmo?
The original Osmo.
So if y'all don't know, this is going to date us, bro. So the original Osmo, if you guys don't know, right now the Osmo Pocket 3 is very popular out there. But just to tell you, that original Osmo had that ball on top of it. But was yours the one that had the ball that like you couldn't take off?
You could not take it off.
So before that one, you could take it off.
Okay.
And then they now brought back, they evolved that Osmo, not just into the Pocket 3, but they used that tech in that new camera that has a battery pack that's connected to it.
Okay.
So now it's they took that concept and ran with it. So that's crazy. Yeah, this guy always has the tech, bro.
Well, the only reason why I actually stopped using it and I went to Sony was the low light like quality of the Osmo was terrible. It was great when you were outside.
Yeah.
You outside it had a great quality, but once you took it indoors, that was it. It just went to crap. So I was like, I can't really keep using it. So I bought the Sony, and I started using the Sony, and at the same time, I bought the DJI
Mavic Pro.
Mavic Pro.
Yeah.
So they had the big white one,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got just the regular Mavic Pro, was a smaller one. And I started flying that around, and then when I started flying that, I was like, whoa, I could get all this really cool footage. I can go over the beach. I can go to, one day I actually took it to, there's a beach down in it's all the way down in Miami. It's right by the
Point?
Sticks. Do you know where the Sticks are?
Oh, I know you're talking about Bill Bags.
Bill Bags. I went to Bill Bags Park, and I went all the way to the end. I flew that sucker all the way to the Sticks.
No
like
way.
I filmed the houses that are built. There's these really cool houses that are over by like they're in the middle of the water, and they've been there for like almost 80 to 100 years. They used to use them for boats that would come in from other places, and they had like it was like a boating community. They would have parties in those houses, so people would come on the boats, they would go party in those houses. But since then they shut all that stuff down. Once in a while, movie crews or movie production companies will rent those from the state, the city.
Oh, wow.
They would rent them, and they could rent them out, and they would go on there and they would film stuff on that. I think it's like in Bad Boys. It's a couple of times in Bad Boys and stuff. But I really wanted to see them, but I'm super far away, and I didn't know anybody that had a boat. So I'm like, I'm going to fly this sucker all the way as far as I can go. Because with the Mavic, you know, when you go past the distance, it'll just automatically come back.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really afraid. So I flew it all the way out there, and I filmed the Sticks. And then from that point forward, I was like, I can make these movies, the movies, you know. I was trained. I used to be a creative for the fruit stand, and for like 7-8 years. So I learned how to use Final Cut way back in the day.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can make this stuff. So I started making the movies, and then she started telling me, you know, you see, I knew you could do all this stuff. And I really started heavily getting into it.
Wow.
That's how it started.
And then, so you walked me through this journey. You started to learn the equipment. You started to shoot some stuff. You obviously, like, maybe you did some portfolio work. You were doing like a lot of free work and all that stuff. But eventually, like, when people ask you, like, do you do work outside? Was that something that you came up with, or somebody kind of forced it upon you and like, I want to hire you for this?
I think it was two different types of things. The first one was somebody had a penthouse apartment in Miami, right on the beach. And it was like a side apartment, and you can see the ocean. So I was showing somebody, can't really remember who it was, but I was showing somebody that I can fly a drone, and they were like, hold on a second. Can I hire you to shoot my, I need you to shoot something by my apartment. And he's like, there's a building going up next to my apartment. And when I bought my apartment, my condo, they said nothing was going to go taller than my unit.
Oh, wow.
So now the building right next door to me went up 2-3 flights above my penthouse unit. And does your drone show the footage? And I'm like, yeah, it shows how many feet off the ground I am. And he's like, I need you to come. So I went over there, and I was like, what do you want me to do? He's like, I just need you to fly up to my condo and then aim it at the other building. And I did it. He paid me $80. I got $80 to just go there, go up. It showed that it was a certain amount of feet. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, this is the evidence I needed. So he took that information and, like, I guess he went into a lawsuit against the building next door. Wow. But I started doing that, and I was like, oh, I can make money from this shit.
Yeah.
And then when I started doing that, then I was like, okay, I want to also do photography. So I started doing photography, and people started seeing my work, and they're like, I'll pay you to do, like, it's my birthday's coming up, and I want to do some pictures for my birthday. So then I was like, I don't know how much to charge these people. I'm just like Joe Schmo off the street, like, just learning how to do this. And then I looked at, like, you used to be able to get, maybe you still can get photos in Macy's or JCPenney's or something like that.
Yeah, like portraits.
Right. So I went on and I tried to see how much money they charge.
No way.
Yeah, and I was like, this is like nothing. Like, this is not enough for me to do this. But then I said to myself, it's a learning process. So sometimes, you want to make money, but if you want to be like super good at it, the best thing to do is like repetition. Just keep doing it and doing it. So I started doing a lot, pictures and videos for people for like a really small amount of money, but it was mostly because I wanted to learn. And then that's kind of where the money started coming into play. I was like, okay, cool. I want to learn how to do this and make money from it. And then eventually when I get really good, I can charge more money. So that's what I started doing.
Nice, man. I feel like there's so much to your story, and I'm sure you have many like instances that you could share with people. But like, I want to get right to the root. There's this thing when it comes down to confidence that you're able to jump from a hobby to getting paid for your work and learning the process and feeling like you're going to deliver a good product. But I feel like you have a more unique like circumstance, and I want you to talk about it. Like, when people meet you, let's say they found you online, they saw your stuff, right? And they're like, I want you to come and do my event. And you pull up to the event, right? They've never met you. What's the first thing they're gonna tell you, or they're gonna talk to you about?
Well, a lot of times, I've learned a lot of my.
Because that has to do with confidence, bro.
Yeah, of course.
Like, you got some big cojones, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they can't really tell,
on the video,
out there,
yeah.
but I'm a paraplegic in a wheelchair, so that's the last thing on anybody's mind when they hire me to do stuff. They have no clue. Mm-hmm. So, for me, it's really difficult because I don't even see myself or think that I'm in the chair. So I don't really care too much for it unless it's a shoot like on a yacht somewhere or something like that. Those I tend to like, even though those are probably the best fun shoots you could ever do, I turn those down and away because I can't get, moving around the yacht depending on how big or small it is, right? But I don't really care. I've gone through my life not really caring too much about how people perceive me or think of me, because a lot of times I think that I could do more than people that walk. So when you're in a chair, you go one of two ways. You either become Superman, or you just crawl up in a ball and stay in your room and don't do anything. So in order for you to get out, there are people out there in the world that have issues with the chair. Even to this day, I still get people looking at me like, is this the guy that we're supposed to talk to? Is this the guy that's going to do all these shots? But I don't. First of all, my work will speak for itself, right? Number one. Number two is if I let people's perception of me get to me, I wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't be doing photography. I wouldn't be doing videography. I wouldn't be owning businesses. I wouldn't be doing these things, because that's a feeling that you have inside. I drive. A lot of times this is the first time I'm actually in front of a camera. I never am in front of a camera. I do not really like being in front of a camera. I've never been in front of a camera.
I just popped your camera cherry?
Yep. Yep.
I love it, man. You're doing great. You're doing a great job.
I'm always behind the camera.
So, all right, you talked to me about this confidence, and now I understand Superman. Like, you used to say that all the time, and I didn't understand like what that meant to you, right? But you're also so innovative and creative, and like, when you do go to these things, you go very prepared. I feel like you go more prepared than I even would go, in the sense of gear, how you've modified. I remember you once told me you had a modification for your chair.
When you came over yesterday to pick up the key, I had the piece that I put in my wheelchair that holds onto the camera, I had it right in front of you on the floor, and I was going to grab it and say, look, this is it, and I was going to put it on the chair, but I totally forgot because we were talking. But I have that piece like in my house. So I always have to think ahead, you know, so I don't want to be unprepared. And with me, I have to be like super overly prepared. I have tripods that can go really high, and I have pieces that connect to my wheelchair. There's times that I do like a car show, and I have like GoPros all around my wheelchair. So I think sometimes it takes, I take advantage of the chair, because now when I'm wheeling past a car that has some dope rims, the little GoPros are shooting the rims. You know, they might not be as good quality as my Sony, but I still get footage that gets really dope. So, I definitely have to think ahead. I have to sometimes call the place that I might be shooting and ask them, are you on the first floor, second floor? Do you have an elevator that goes? So I do a little bit of research on my own because, again, like telling the client that might shoo them away from using me. So I do my research. Oh, where do you want it? What do you want to do? And then I call the hotel, you know, that has a banquet area, and I find out for myself.
That's awesome, man. I feel like you have so many inspirational stories for people out there that want to get into this space, creative space, recording video, and maybe have, you know, whatever it is, if it's mental, physical, whatever that they're dealing with. I feel like you can inspire a lot of people, and I'm going to do my best to get you in front of a lot of faces.
Cool, I appreciate that.
To get you out there. And I know this is like a short one. We're going to keep it nice and tight and short, but I feel like you deserve to be in front of the camera. Did you like your being in front right now?
I mean, it's decent. One of the reasons why I don't get in front of the camera a lot is because I'm a little windy. I try to keep my mouth shut, but I do speak a lot because I have so much to say. I really do have a lot to say. You know, there's people that I talk to and I'm just like, you got a minute? But it turns into, I call you sometimes and I know I'm on the phone with you and you're just, I know I could picture you on the other side, like talking to people and doing whatever that, because you're so busy, but you're like, Jesus, when is Arno gonna shut up? Because I do talk a lot.
I'll be honest with you, I've never really done that for you. I've done it for other people that, you know, you're not that winded, to be honest. Maybe you do that consciously with me, and maybe unconsciously with other people you kind of talk.
Sometimes I text you, and my text messages are like 3 paragraphs,
yeah.
And you text back, yes, no, maybe, over there, over here, right,
But
left.
I'm known for that. My one-word responses, people hate that.
So I'm like, yo, I just messaged Angel like 3 paragraphs. He's going to be like,
yes.
I'm not going to read all this. I'm going to go to the bottom.
Nah. But I'll show you behind the scenes one day of like me listening to your stuff or reading. We'll reenact it. We'll do a skit. No, but I think this is awesome, man. Anything you'd like to say to anyone out there that's going to watch this, you know, and that maybe is like inspired by your story? Anything you want to leave them with?
I mean, I could say, don't let anybody tell you you can't do something. Period. I right before I was in a motorcycle accident 30 years ago, a long time ago. Before I was in my motorcycle accident, I was a professional dancer. I joined the Marine Corps. I was joining the Marine Corps, but I had my accident. But I also took the test for New York City Police. I was making moves, but when I had my accident, everything stopped. Yeah. So for me, it's definitely, people would tell me, you can't do these things. I can't buy a house. I can't get a car. I'm never going to walk again. You know, yeah, I don't walk. That's fine. And I don't really give a shit. But I do everything else. You know, I swim. I weight train. I'm very extremely active. I've done 11 marathons. I've done 3 Miami marathons. I've done 3 Fort Lauderdale marathons. I've done New York City, Los Angeles. I've done a lot in my life in the chair. But you know, in life, people, I want to say, don't say too much to people about what you're going to do in life, what you want to do. what the future's going to hold. Just think it in your own mind, and then once you do it, then you can show it off to everybody else. There's a lot of people out there that want to keep you down. You throw out, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Like, yeah, whatever. But just keep it a little quiet. Do what you need to do. A lot of people I know don't even know I have this studio. They're going to start knowing it now. But, I don't really speak too much about. I do that. I have my own Airbnb. I have 2 other businesses, and I'm still trying to build more. I want to buy property. Like, there's a lot of things that are going on, but I don't say it to people. I just live my life, let it happen. And then the people that love me, the people that I love, I bring them into the wealth of the fun and the things like this that I have, that I'm doing. But really, just there's been people out there that told me I couldn't do stuff, and I'm still doing it. And I look back at them and I'm like, I look at some of the people from high school, those high school books that say like the most likely to succeed and all this stuff, and they're living at home with their parents at 50 years old. So again, don't let anybody tell you can't do anything. Make it happen.
I love it. Don't compare someone else's chapter 21 to your chapter 1. That's how I'm gonna leave it. You've been in tune to the first Next Level podcast. If you want to follow this account, it is, you tell them, what's the tag?
The Next Level Studio and Instagram.
Like gangster, right? Like the THEE. That's what's up. Just like that. Peace. Cut. How you like it?
Good.
You liked it? It's your first debut, baby.
I wasn't focusing on
I got the shorts.
the cameras.
I know what you were saying.